Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds podcast. I'm your co-host, Boom Margato, the cat that hands you your gloves back. And to my left over here is the main man, Jesus De Niro, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Deadly ideas, brother, and spicier content than your girl's OnlyFans.
What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and with that, let's get right into it. So here we are again on a fight that we called again. We both predicted that Islam Makhachev would beat Dustin Poirier, even though we, for the sake of who Dustin is, we wanted Dustin to win. It was just too big of a hill to climb, though. Listen, it was a great performance. I think both guys did great. I think in the end, obviously, as we predicted, Islam was going to be too much of a hill to climb. I think Islam still has a few more good years ahead of him. Whether he decides to stay in the division that he's at now or move on up, which he has stated that he has some interest in, maybe conquer another division. Just FYI, Islam has now passed up Habib in the number of wins he's racked up in the UFC. So shout out to him. Shout out to his team Khabib. As you saw, if you guys watched the fight, Habib and other coaches ran in there after Dustin Poirier tapped, and they were celebrating with Islam, hugging him, all that good stuff. So shout out to both of them for being such good boys. Shout out to his entire team, all that good stuff. Where does that leave us with Dustin? Listen, the man said that he might consider retiring because he said, "Look, man, I've had over 50 fights. The whole point, the last thing that I haven't been able to get accomplished was get a belt. I've fought the top guys. I've won, beat the top guys, so on and so forth." He's like, so, I have to heavily consider, I might have to retire. He gave a 50-50 answer when he was being interviewed by Joe Rogan. He basically said, "I'm going to have to think about it, but this might be it." I completely understand where Dustin's coming from. Listen, he's beat a lot of top guys, the McGregors. He beat Oliveira's, a lot of these individuals. The problem is that he's right. What do you do when you're always main card status, but you just can't you can't get that over that final hurdle. You can't get that damn belt because whoever has a damn belt just is just a tiny bit better than you. We just did a video on a boxer that's looking to retire, and I'm going to say something very similar here. Listen, Dustin has built up a great life for his family. He should definitely think about what he wants to do. I'll be honest with you, he's getting on in age, but I don't think he's really slipping. I don't think it's not like he went in there and got dominated by Islam. He put up a hell of a fight against Islam. So I don't want to see him retire. I would respect it if he did. I'm not mad at him if he decides to retire, but I also wouldn't be against him staying. If I saw him slipping in there, if he got dominated, if he didn't put up a good fight, then yeah, I would absolutely say, "Hey, man, it might be time to pack it up. Go enjoy the rest of your life with your family, all that good stuff." But I don't see that man slipping. I don't see the man that a man that's taking a step backward. So it's hard for me to say, yeah, Dustin should retire. Dustin is definitely a workhorse when it comes to UFC fighters. He's put up a lot of good fights. He's been a main carder a lot. So it's really hard for me to say, "Hey, look, this is a man that he's put in his time. Let him retire. If he wants to, absolutely go for it." But I don't know, man. It's just difficult for me when a man hasn't taken a step back in the competition that he's faced, when he's dominated most of them. In some performances, spectacularly, mind you, in very recent times. So I don't know, man. I'm conflicted. I guess maybe I feel the same way that Dustin feels. I'm conflicted about, what his next goal is. What's the next step for him? Because, what does he do? Goes and fights another two main carders, beats them, and then another title shot? It just, that's hard to keep doing that pattern over and over and over and over again, especially when you just can't seem to get over the finish line. I don't know, my man. What do you think about that? It just seems kind of a hard thing for even me to be like, "Hey, this is the way this man should go."
it's funny because it reminds you of like playing like old school games where you're like you have to try and beat the boss like so many times and you just can't do it. And guess what happens? You have to go all the way to the beginning of the stage because there wasn't no saves, there was no passwords. It had to be a one and done go. And at some point, you just get tired of playing that game over and over and over again. And to be honest, for Dustin, I can understand that. And keep in mind, 2-3 fights and then a championship title shot, like that's a minimum, like maybe a year and a half. Like it's like time's not on his side here. And look, that fight, like for both of these men, Islam looked pretty dominant in there, but at the same time, Dustin was giving a hell of a fight. Hell, there was even some, I think on the cards, Dustin actually won 2 of the rounds, which means if it didn't go to submission, it probably would have went to majority decision, which again, for Dustin's performance, that's not bad. Even if he did lose, like that's close to a split decision, which again is the best way you can lose, worst way you can win. So again, it's not an indictment of Islam's skill. It isn't an indictment on Dustin's skill. It was a damn good fight, and again, he didn't look like he slipped. It reminds me of a quote from Star Trek by a character named of Jean-Luc Picard, when he said, "You can do everything in your life well and still lose. That's not failure. That's just life." And Dustin did everything that he could have possibly done correct. He trained well. He looked good in the ring. It's just his heart and his aptitude just wasn't a match for Islam. And this isn't a knock on Dustin's performance. It's just that it's more of a appraisal of Islam's skill in the ring. We can't talk smack about either fighter because both of them did the best that they could, and it just looked like the better man won. And again, for if Dustin decides to retire, he can retire just fine. He has it. He has his hot sauce, and he has his whiskey. He has a family. Man's living good. Anybody would kill to be in Dustin's position, championship or not. Dustin's already winning. He's already a champ in many people's eyes. There's even after he lost, there was like an immediate post of Dustin appreciation thread that was going around. And look, when you've captured so many fans' hearts like that, again, you might have not gained a championship, but you won a lot of people's hearts. And to be honest, for a fighter, I think you can do no wrong than that. He enters into the pantheon of the greatest to ever do it that never won a championship. And there's no shame in that. He's always gonna enter the conversation of, again, greatest of all time that never won the belt. Is it kind of a shame that they never won a championship? Yes, that's why we have a separate list for that, unfortunately. Circumstances, timing, it's just one of those things that just didn't click well. It was like right person, wrong time. Again, there's no shame in that. Dustin Poirier may not have a championship on his waist or draped around his shoulders, but he is a champ in many people's eyes. And to be honest, a lot of people would kill to be in that position. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, listen, man. I agree with you. I think it's just a difficult situation, man. I mean, me personally, I'm a never give up type of person. You keep bashing your head against the wall until you break the fucking wall. But at the same time, like you said, man, I mean, we're talking about at least a year and a half, for him to get it in at least 2 more fights, bare minimum 2 more fights, more than likely 3, to be able to say, hey, I deserve another title shot. And those are going to be hard fights. It ain't going to be against like the bottom of the division. It'd be against top tier competition again. And the training, the time, the effort, the aging, it's a lot for a man to do continuously, especially when he's done it, as many times as Dustin has done it. Again, look, you said it yourself, man. Dustin has nothing to be ashamed of. If he decides to call it good, hey, man, it was a hell of a career. He will always be discussed as the greatest of all time that didn't get a belt, or at least have his name in that discussion. So yeah, man, listen, whatever Dustin decides to do, obviously we completely support. He's a great individual. True champion at heart, great man, great. I saw him talking to his daughter after the fight, and daughter was clearly sad, but Dustin was picking up her spirits. Some of the footage I saw from after the fight as well, he was hugging it out with Islam, hugging it out with Khabib, so on and so forth, man. So listen, again, great individual, not an ounce of bad in that person. And hopefully, whatever decision he comes to, I hope he has all the success in the world. I think as UFC fans, we can all definitely agree, as MMA fans, we can all agree that it doesn't matter if this man never won a championship. He's a great individual at heart, He didn't make it to that, that pantheon of champions, but that's okay. Listen, either way, like I said, he's gonna win. He's already won at life. He's gonna be doing great no matter what he decides to do. Hopefully, him and his family have a deep discussion. Let maybe a week or two go by after the highs and the lows of this fight go down, and they come to a suitable decision for everybody. Yeah, it's gonna be a great life moving forward for the man, no matter what. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.